guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I have recently come into the possession of 2 boxes of Smarties. In Canada, Smarties are chocolates, if you did not know. Also, I know you can see that one of the packs is open. Mind your business. Regardless, there's way too many packs of Smarties for me to consume by myself in a healthy manner. So, alternatively, I'm going to be adding them into cookies. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe. It means the absolute world to me. Now let's get to baking. This is not my recipe, but this is the best chocolate chip cookie recipe that I have ever found / used. I've always made it my goal to try to make the best chocolate chip cookie, and I think I've done it. So I'm going to share this with you so that if you're looking for a chocolate chip cookie recipe, you do not have to look far. In a smaller / medium sized bowl, this is where we're going to start with our dry ingredients. We're going to start off with 180 grams or 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Then we're going to go in with half a teaspoon of baking soda, and then 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. And then finally some salt, going back and using our half a teaspoon. And then with a fork, we're just gonna roughly mix this together, and that is our dry ingredients. We are now moving on to our wet ingredients. You are going to need 120 grams or half a cup of butter. Here's the thing, the recipe calls for salted butter. And the first time that I used this recipe, I didn't have regular butter. I had margarine, so I used it and it worked perfectly fine. So if you only have margarine, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
This is generational trauma. I rebuke it. I refuse. Anyway, like I said, half a cup or 120 grams. Equally, we're gonna need half a cup of sugar or 100 grams, as well as half a cup of brown sugar. Now, I use golden sugar, light brown sugar, dark brown sugar. Realistically, the amount of times I've interchanged these in recipes that only call for dark brown sugar, there's no difference. It does nothing to the recipe for me. So if you have light brown sugar, golden sugar, dark brown sugar, whatever you got, use it. Because darker sugar, packed sugar like this is a lot more dense, we only need 90 grams, which equals to half a cup. I'm gonna take this to my stand mixer. You can use a hand mixer or your arms. I would refrain from using your arms because we're gonna need to beat this until it's light and fluffy. So the recipe calls for a minute, but sometimes I like to bring it up to maybe 3 minutes, maybe 4, just to get this all pale and smooth and light and fluffy. As you guys can see, it is a lot lighter, fluffier, and thicker in consistency. To this, we're gonna scrape the bowl, then add 1 egg and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Measure with your heart. Then we mix this until everything is just combined. Nice, and now to this, we're gonna add half of the dry ingredients, let it mix, and then add the rest of the dry ingredients to this. You want to mix this on a slower speed just so that you don't get flour everywhere and so that you can control when it all gets incorporated, because if you do it too fast, then you might overmix your cookie dough. And now to add the rest. Mix again. Done. Off my mixer now. I'm just taking a spatula and running it through the sides. I want you to know, this batter is supposed to be this sticky. And the reason why is because these cookies will spread out and thin out when they are baked. And I don't know about you, but to me, that is the perfect cookie. Crispy outer edge with a chewy inside. Absolutely delicious. Now for you guys, the recipe calls for a cup of chocolate. To me, I just add enough chocolate so that it makes sense. I did not measure this out, but I can tell you for free, this is not all the packets. There are still some behind this camera, but I used about 19 packets of Smarties, and this is what I got. So I'm gonna add all of this, which is like 1 cup, right? Oh my god, I love this sound. Now with my spatula, I'm just gonna fold it in. Actual heaven. Again, I'm not really like over mixing this. I just want every single piece of chocolate to be coated. That is our cookie dough. Our oven is preheating to 375. In the meantime, I'm going to roll these out into little balls. I've lined my baking sheet with this silicone mat. Honestly, one of the best gifts I've ever received. I'm then taking a regular size spoon, dipping it into my hand, and very like hot potato to sort of roll it, because otherwise it's just gonna really stick to my hands if I aggressively roll it. And plop. that is it. This will spread out. I actually don't know how these candies will react, but that is something we will find out together. I'm gonna do that to a couple of more. Because this recipe does spread out the cookie, I don't put as much dough balls on the baking tray because otherwise everything is just gonna melt together. So I usually do about 4. But one great thing about this recipe as well is the fact that this only takes about 10 to 12 minutes to cook. Even though you're not putting very much on the tray, you will be done baking sooner rather than later. I have a feeling these are too big, but you know what? They're all gonna be consumed. As I said, gonna put these in the oven for 10 minutes, maybe 12. We're really just looking for the outer edges to look light golden brown, and then they can be taken out. Do not put them for more than 12 minutes. 12 minutes is the max, because otherwise she will burn. I'm gonna make the rest of these cookies, and we will reconvene when they're all done, and I have a fresh batch of cookies for you. Y'all are not ready for this. These are the finished cookies. Holy shit. That's all I gotta say. Holy shit. Every time I do this recipe and I see the final outcome of these cookies, I just hope to be this happy on my wedding day. We have to tuck into one. Y'all ready? Oh my god. Stop playing. Very light golden brown on the edges and on the backs, and then so chewy, soft on the inside. Goddamn. I'm gonna tear that up in a minute. I ended up making 12 cookies. Now obviously my cookies are a little bit larger. My big bag was a little grady. You can make these smaller. They spread out as you can see. That is it for this week's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I will link the recipe down below in the description. Do not be fooled. It says white chocolate chips, but I promise you can substitute it for any type of chocolate. It's worked for me and I highly, highly recommend doing this recipe. If you're gonna do any of my recipes, do this one. It's not even mine, but holy shit, I wish it was. If you enjoyed, please make sure to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. It means the absolute world to me. And I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye!